Captain walked through the metal corridors of Nexus Prime, the biggest space station in the galaxy. Her boots clicked against the floor as she made her way to the meeting room. Today was another council session, and she already knew it would not go well for Earth. The space station was huge, bigger than most cities on Earth. Aliens from hundreds of different worlds worked and lived here, had been coming to these meetings for 2 years now, and she still felt small compared to the other species. She entered the council chamber and took her seat at the back. The human section was tiny, just 3 chairs in the corner. Most other species had dozens of seats. The Alone had 50 representatives, their shell-covered bodies clicking and chattering in their strange language. Elder floated into the room, surrounded by a soft blue glow. The ethereal was one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Its crystal body contained pure mental energy that could read thoughts and move objects without touching them. Always felt uncomfortable when the Elder was near, like someone was looking through her memories. Ambassador or of the hegemony stood at the center of the room. His massive body was covered in thick armor that looked like a crab shell. 2 large claws clicked together as he spoke. Behind him, dozens of others nodded their agreement. "The human problem must be solved," or announced. His voice was deep and harsh, like rocks grinding together. "They are weak and cannot protect their own colonies. Pirates attack their ships. Their technology breaks down constantly. They are not fit to rule worlds in space." Stood up from her chair. "Ambassador, or humans have been living peacefully on our colony worlds for 20 years. We have never asked for help with pirates or technology. Our people are happy and productive." He turned his 4 eyes toward her. Each eye was as big as fist and glowed red in the dim light. "Happy? Productive? Your people live in tiny domes on the surface of planets. You cannot even breathe the air without machines. Your ships take months to travel between worlds while ours travel the same distance in days." Elder's voice appeared in everyone's mind without sound. The telepathic words felt cold and distant. "The human speaks of peace, but peace is not survival. Your species lacks the mental strength to defend itself. You have no psychic powers, no natural weapons, no armor. You are like children playing with dangerous toys." More aliens began to speak up. The representative, tall and thin like a walking stick, waved his 6 arms. "Our surveys show that human colonies are inefficient. They farm the land slowly and mine resources at a basic level. We could extract 10 times more wealth from these worlds with proper management." Felt her face turn red with anger, but she kept her voice calm. "Our colonies are our homes. The people who live there were born on Earth and chose to start new lives on those worlds. You cannot just take them away from us." "We are not taking anything," said another. "We are offering protection. Your 3 colony worlds, New Geneva, Hope, and Terra Nova, will be much safer under our care. The humans living there can move to better worlds where they will be protected." "Protected from what?" asked. Ambassador Or's claws clicked together in what had learned was laughter. "From reality, Captain, from the truth that your species is not ready for life among the stars." The council chamber filled with agreement from dozens of alien species. Looked around the room and saw the same expression on every face, pity mixed with annoyance. They saw humans the way adults might look at children who refused to listen to good advice. Elder floated closer too. The crystal being's mental voice became stronger in her head. "Your species fascinates us, human. You have emotions that change quickly and make decisions based on feelings rather than logic. You form bonds with individual beings rather than thinking about your entire species. This makes you weak but also interesting to study." "We are not here to be studied," said. "We are here as members of the Galactic Confederation. We have rights." "You have the rights we choose to give you," said the representative. "Your species was discovered only 50 years ago. You have been part of the Confederation for just 20 years. Many species here have been traveling the stars for thousands of years." A new voice joined the conversation. General of the Hegemony War Council stepped forward. He was even bigger than Ambassador Or, with scars across his shell that showed his experience in battle. "The human colonies are in dangerous space. The Void pirates have been attacking ships in that region. The Shadow Fleet has been seen near Hope. These threats are beyond human ability to handle." Knew about the pirates and the Shadow Fleet. They were dangerous, but human ships had been avoiding them successfully. "Our people know how to stay safe. We have not lost a single colony ship in 5 years." "Luck," General said simply. "Luck runs out. When it does, thousands of humans will die and the Council will blame itself for not acting sooner. The meeting continued for 3 more hours, watched as the Council voted on the Human Protection Resolution. Every species except Earth voted in favor. The resolution gave the Confederation the right to move human colonists to safer worlds and place human space under alien protection. Stood up one last time. This is wrong and Earth will not accept it. Elder's mental voice carried a hint of amusement. Earth will accept it because Earth has no choice. Your ships are slow, your weapons are basic, and your numbers are small. You cannot fight the entire galaxy. As walked out of the chamber, she heard Ambassador or speaking to the other representatives. The humans will understand in time. When they see how much better their lives become under proper guidance, they will thank us for saving them from themselves. Reached her small ship and sent a message back to Earth. The news would not be welcome, but Earth needed to know. The galaxy had decided that humans were children who needed adult supervision. Soon, human independence would be nothing but a memory. 6 months had passed since the Council meeting, and everything was getting worse for humanity. Dr. Sarah sat in her laboratory on the ethereal, staring at the computer screen in front of her. What she had found in the alien database made her stomach feel sick. Sarah was supposed to be here for a research exchange program. The ethereals had invited her to study their advanced technology and share human knowledge in return. But what she discovered was much different from what she expected. The file on her screen was titled Species Classification Report Humans. Sarah read through it slowly, her hands shaking as she understood what the aliens really thought about her people. Biological curiosity with limited potential for advancement, the report said. Average of 80 years is insufficient for complex learning. Brain structure shows emotional instability and irrational decision-making patterns. Recommend observation status with gradual integration into labor support systems. The worst part came at the end. Note, human physical weakness and lack of natural defenses make them suitable for non-dangerous work only. Suggest assignment to farming, basic manufacturing, and maintenance duties under proper supervision. Sarah closed the file and tried to look normal as an ethereal scientist floated into the lab. The crystal being's name was Scholar M, and it had been working with Sarah for weeks. "Doctor, you appear distressed," the scholar said, its mental voice calm and curious. "Are you having difficulty with our research methods?" "I was just reading some background information about human classification," Sarah replied carefully. "I wanted to understand how we fit into the Confederation." Scholar M's crystal body pulsed with what Sarah had learned was amusement. "Ah yes, the evaluation reports. Very thorough work by our xenobiology department. Do not take it personally, Doctor. Every species must be properly categorized for the safety of all." "Safety?" Sarah asked. "Of course. Imagine if we allowed a primitive species to access dangerous technology before they were ready. They might hurt themselves or others. Your people show great enthusiasm but lack the mental discipline for advanced sciences." Meanwhile, on the colony world of New Geneva, Administrator was dealing with problems of his own. Ships had been arriving every few days, bringing more inspectors to check human facilities. Stood in the colony's main power plant, watching as technicians took apart the fusion reactor. The lead inspector, Commander OK, pointed at various components with his claws. "This reactor design is unstable," the commander announced. "The containment field fluctuates beyond acceptable parameters. We must remove it for the safety of the colony." "That reactor has been running perfectly for 15 years, said. "Our engineers check it every day. There have been no problems." Commander Ok's 4 eyes turned toward. "Human engineers do not understand the dangers they cannot see. This reactor could explode and kill everyone in the colony. We are protecting you." They had already removed the colony's defense satellites, calling them unnecessarily aggressive for a peaceful settlement. They had shut down the quantum communication array because it was improperly shielded and might interfere with navigation systems. Now they were taking the power source that ran the entire colony. Watched helplessly as the aliens disconnected cables and removed control panels. "What are we supposed to use for power?" "We will provide a safe, simple generator that meets your basic needs," Commander OK replied. "It will be much more reliable than this dangerous human technology." On Terra Nova, Colony Director Lisa Park was facing a different kind of pressure. Trade officials had set up checkpoints around the planet, stopping and searching every ship that tried to enter or leave. Lisa stood on the observation deck of the orbital station, looking down at her colony world. 3 cruisers hung in space nearby, their sensors constantly scanning for what they called unauthorized technology transfers. "Director Park," came a voice behind her. She turned to see Trade Commissioner Tan, his tall, thin body moving with fluid grace. "We need to discuss your colony's production reports." "What about them?" Lisa asked. "Your people are mining rare metals at a very slow rate. Our analysis shows this world could produce 50 times more valuable resources with proper equipment and methods." Lisa crossed her arms. "Our miners work hard and safely. We don't want to strip mine the planet bare." Commissioner Tan's 6 arms moved in patterns that Lisa had learned meant disagreement. "Strip mining is an emotional human term. We call it efficient resource extraction. This world is wasted on human farming and small mining operations." "This is our home," Lisa said firmly. "For now," the commissioner replied, "but homes can be moved, people cannot." Back on Earth, Captain sat in a secure meeting room deep underground. Around the table were the most important leaders of the human government. The news from the colonies was getting worse every day. "They're systematic about it," reported. "Every human technology that could possibly be used for defense is being removed or replaced. Every resource that has strategic value is being declared inefficiently managed. Every human decision is being questioned by alien advisors." President Maria Santos looked tired. She had been dealing with alien demands and threats for months. "What do they want from us?" "Complete control," said Admiral, head of Earth's small space fleet. "They want humans to be workers, not citizens. We would live where they tell us to live, work at jobs they give us, and be grateful for their protection." Defense Secretary James Parks spread out documents on the table. "The Confederation Council has prepared something called the Human Integration Accords. It's basically a surrender document disguised as a protection treaty." Looked at the papers. The language was formal and polite, but the meaning was clear. Humans would give up control of their colonies, their technology, and their future. In return, they would be relocated to appropriate worlds where alien governments would take care of them. "What happens if we refuse?" asked President Santos. Admiral answered grimly. "Economic blockade first. No alien species will trade with us or sell us supplies, then probably a military blockade to enforce the economic one. After that," he shrugged, "they'll call it a protective intervention." Stood up and walked to the window, even though it only showed a wall of rock. They were so far underground that sunlight could not reach them. "How long do we have?" "The Council has given us 6 months to consider the integration accords," President Santos said. 6 months to decide whether humanity will remain free or become a protected species under alien management. Turned back to face the room. 6 months isn't very long. "No," the president agreed, "but it might be enough." Something in her voice made look more carefully at the older woman. President Santos had been leading Earth for 8 years, and she had never given up on anything easily. There was something in her eyes that suggested she had ideas the aliens knew nothing about. "Enough for what?" asked. President Santos smiled, but it was not a happy expression. "Enough to remind the galaxy that humans are not as helpless as we appear to be." Captain followed Director James Hawthorne through corridors she had never seen before. They were walking through tunnels carved deep into Cheyenne Mountain, past doors with security locks that required handprints, eye scans, and voice recognition. Dr. Sarah walked beside them, having returned from her research exchange just days before. "How deep does this go?" asked as they passed through another security checkpoint. "Deep enough," Director Hawthorne replied. He was an older man with gray hair and calm eyes, but could see excitement in his face. "What you're about to see has been kept secret for over 100 years. Only a few hundred people on Earth know it exists." They stopped at a massive metal door that looked like it belonged on a spaceship rather than underground on Earth. Director Hawthorne placed his hand on a scanner, and the door slid open with a soft hiss. Stepped inside and stopped breathing. The room beyond the door was enormous, carved out of the mountain itself. Computer screens covered the walls from floor to ceiling, displaying star maps, ship designs, and data streams that moved too fast for her to read. Dozens of people worked at control stations, wearing uniforms she had never seen before. "Welcome to the Sol Defense Initiative," Director Hawthorne said. "We've been waiting a long time to show you this." Doctor stared at the displays around them. "This is impossible. The technology here is decades ahead of anything I've seen." "Actually," Director Hawthorne said with a smile, "it's decades ahead of anything the aliens have seen too." He led them to a large table in the center of the room. Above it, a three-dimensional map of the galaxy appeared, made of light and so detailed could see individual star systems. "Let me tell you the real story," Director Hawthorne began. "In 2156, our deep space telescopes detected signs of faster-than-light travel in distant star systems. We realized that humanity was not alone and that other species had technology far beyond ours." Watched as the star map changed, showing the paths of alien ships moving between worlds. "Our leaders had a choice," Director Hawthorne continued. "We could wait for aliens to find us and hope they would be friendly, or we could prepare for the possibility that they would not be. They chose to prepare." The star map changed again, showing Earth and the solar system. For 150 years, humanity has been getting ready for this exact situation. Every government on Earth contributed to the project. Scientists, engineers, and military experts worked in secret to develop technology that could defend our species. Doctor pointed at one of the displays. "That shows antimatter containment systems. We don't have that technology." "Yes, we do," Director Hawthorne said. "What you think of as fusion reactors in our colonies are actually antimatter power plants. We designed them to look primitive to anyone who might be watching." Felt confused. "But the aliens have been studying our technology. They say it's basic and inefficient." "Because we wanted them to think that," Director Hawthorne replied. "Every piece of human technology the aliens have seen was designed to appear 100 years behind our actual capabilities." He touched a control, and the star map zoomed in on the three human colony worlds. New Geneva, Hope, and Terra Nova are not our only colonies. They're administrative centers designed to be visible to alien surveillance. The map expanded, showing dozens of other star systems with human symbols, counted 47 different locations. "We have been building hidden colonies for 30 years, Director Hawthorne explained. "Each one is a complete industrial center capable of producing warships, weapons, and supplies. The aliens think humanity has 15 billion people. The real number is closer to 50 billion. Doctor sat down heavily in a nearby chair. "You're telling me that everything I know about human space exploration is wrong." "Not wrong," Director Hawthorne said. "Carefully managed. Doctor, your research exchange with the ethereals was part of the plan. We needed to know exactly what the aliens thought about us and how they planned to control us." Looked at the displays around the room. "How is this possible? How could you keep something this big secret?" "The same way we kept the Manhattan Project secret during World War II, Director Hawthorne replied. "Compartmentalization. Most people working on the project only knew their small part of it. Only a few dozen people knew the full scope." A new voice joined the conversation. "And now you're part of that group." Turned to see a woman in military uniform walking toward them. She was tall and confident, with short black hair and sharp eyes. "Captain Dr. Meet Admiral Sarah," Director Hawthorne said. "She commands the Sol Defense Force." Stared. "Sol Defense Force?" "Our real military," Admiral explained. "While the aliens have been watching our small patrol ships and thinking we're helpless, we've been building a fleet designed specifically to fight a galactic war." The star map changed to show ship designs unlike anything had ever seen. They were sleek and angular, covered in armor that seemed to bend light around it. "These ships use technology the aliens have never seen," Admiral continued. "Quantum displacement drives that make their fastest ships look slow. Gravity manipulation weapons that can tear apart enemy vessels. Defense systems that exist in multiple dimensions at once." Doctor stood up and walked closer to the displays. "This is impossible. Some of these technologies shouldn't exist according to known physics." "Known to whom?" Admiral asked. "The aliens' understanding of physics is based on their own development. Humanity took a different path." Director Hawthorne touched another control, and the display showed a timeline. "When we realized aliens existed, we started thinking about how to fight them. We assumed they would be stronger and have better weapons. so we focused on developing technologies they wouldn't expect. Studied the timeline. Quantum consciousness barriers, temporal displacement weapons, what do these things do? The quantum barriers protect human minds from psychic attacks, Admiral explained. Ethereals can read most alien thoughts because those species developed naturally. Human brains work differently, and with the barriers, we're completely immune to mental manipulation. And the temporal weapons? Doctor asked. They don't destroy enemy ships, Admiral said with a cold smile. They send them to other points in time, very effective and very confusing for anyone trying to figure out what happened. Felt overwhelmed by everything she was learning. Why tell us now? Why reveal all of this? Director Hawthorne looked serious. Because the aliens have given us 6 months to surrender. In 3 weeks, Earth will respond to their ultimatum, but our response won't be what they expect. Admiral walked to another display that showed alien fleet movements. Battle groups are positioning near our colonies. Ethereal thought ships are gathering in neutral space. Economic warfare divisions are preparing to cut off all trade with human worlds. They think we'll surrender because we have no choice, Director Hawthorne said. They think humanity is weak, primitive, and helpless. Looked around the room at all the people working at their stations, at the displays showing human technology that seemed like magic, at the star map with dozens of hidden human worlds. But we're not helpless, she said. No, Admiral agreed. We're not helpless at all, and it's time the galaxy learned that. Director Hawthorne smiled, but his eyes were hard. The aliens wanted to protect humanity from the dangers of space. Soon, they'll discover that the most dangerous thing in space is an angry human with something to protect. Realized that everything was about to change. The galaxy thought it knew humanity, but it was wrong, very wrong. What happens next? She asked. Next, Admiral said, we remind the galaxy why it's a bad idea to corner a species that has been preparing for war for 150 years. 3 weeks before the deadline for the Human Integration Accords, something happened that would change galactic history forever. On every alien world, space station, and ship, screens flickered and showed the same image at the same time. Ambassador Orr was in his private chambers when his communication system activated without his permission. The Large looked at the screen with confusion and anger. No one could access his personal systems without proper codes. On the screen appeared a human woman sitting behind a simple desk. She had brown hair and calm eyes, and she wore a dark blue uniform that Orr did not recognize. To the species of the Galactic Confederation, the woman began, I am President Maria Santos of the United Earth Government. I speak for all humanity today. On the ethereal, Elder floated in the crystal chamber where only the highest-ranking ethereals were allowed. The chamber's security systems were the most advanced in known space, protected by psychic barriers that could stop any form of communication. Yet the human woman's image appeared in the chamber's center, as clear as if she was standing there in person. We have received your integration accords, President Santos continued, and we find them unacceptable. Across the galaxy, alien leaders stopped what they were doing to watch. The transmission was appearing everywhere at once on military ships, in government buildings, even on personal communication devices. No technology existed that could broadcast to the entire galaxy simultaneously. On the capital world, Trade Minister stared at his screen in disbelief. His 6 arms moved nervously as he tried to understand how humans had bypassed every security system in space. You have assumed that humanity is weak because we appear primitive, President Santos said. You have decided that we need your protection because our technology seems basic. You have concluded that we should be grateful for your guidance because we are new to galactic civilization. In his fortress on the military world of Orr, General watched the transmission with growing anger. His claws clicked against his armor as the human woman continued speaking. You are wrong about all of these things, President Santos said calmly. Let me show you what you have missed. The image changed to show detailed information about military operations. Classified battle plans appeared on screen, including secret weapons projects that only the highest-ranking commanders knew about. General's 4 eyes widened in shock. The information being displayed was from secure databases that required DNA recognition and psychic verification to access. We know about your bioweapon programs targeting carbon-based life forms, President Santos said. We know about Project Death Spore, designed to eliminate human colonies without damaging the planets. The image changed again, now showing ethereal research facilities that were supposed to be invisible to all known scanning technology. Elder's crystal body pulsed with alarm as the human woman described experiments that no other species should know about. We know about your consciousness integration projects, President Santos continued. We know about the forced mental bonding experiments you perform on captured pirates and criminals. The trade minister watched in horror as the transmission revealed the locations of secret slave labor camps in the Outer Rim territories. We know about your labor extraction operations, President Santos said. We know about the species you have relocated to work in your mining colonies without payment or freedom to leave. But the most frightening part came next. President Santos looked directly at the camera, and her expression became deadly serious. We know these things because we have been watching you for 50 years. While you studied us, we studied you. While you planned our future, we planned for every possibility. While you saw us as primitive children, we saw you as potential threats to human survival. The transmission showed images of technology that made no sense to alien scientists. Ships that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions, weapons that manipulated the basic forces of reality, and defensive systems that appeared to violate known laws of physics. Your exoskeletons protect you from plasma and kinetic weapons, President Santos said, looking at leaders across their empire. They offer no protection against molecular disruptors that separate the bonds between atoms. Elder tried to use psychic powers to block the transmission, but nothing happened. The human woman continued speaking as if the Elder's abilities did not exist. Your mental powers are impressive, President Santos said to the ethereals, but they require biological neural pathways to function, neural pathways that can be interrupted. She added, your energy shields have protected your ships for thousands of years. They are not designed for kinetic penetrators that exist in quantum superposition until the moment of impact. Admiral appeared on the transmission, standing beside President Santos. She wore a uniform covered in symbols that no alien database could identify. 57 scout ships have been observing human space in the past month, Admiral reported. They believe they are hidden and undetected. Actually, we have been tracking every one of them since they entered our territory. She gestured, and the display showed the exact locations of ships that thought they were invisible. 18 ethereal thought ships are positioned in what you call neutral space, Admiral continued. You believe human technology cannot detect psychic shielded vessels. You are mistaken. The display changed again, showing ethereal ships that were completely hidden from their own allies. 43 economic warfare divisions are preparing to blockade human trade routes, Admiral said. Your coordination signals have been intercepted and decoded. We know every ship's assignment, every target, and every backup plan. President Santos took control of the transmission again. For 50 years, humanity has prepared for this moment. We hoped it would never come. We hoped you would treat us as equals and allow us to live in peace. Her voice became harder. Instead, you have chosen to see us as animals to be managed. You have decided that human freedom is less important than your comfort. You have concluded that our homes should belong to whoever wants them most. The transmission showed human colonies that the aliens had never seen. Dozens of star systems filled with human cities, farms, and industrial centers. You know about 3 human worlds, President Santos said. We have 47. You think humanity has 15 billion people. We have 50 billion. You believe our technology is primitive. It is more advanced than anything in your databases. The image changed one final time, showing a fleet of human warships unlike anything in galactic history. They were beautiful and terrifying, covered in armor that seemed to absorb light and weapons that hummed with barely contained energy. This is Earth's ultimatum, President Santos said. Withdraw from all human territories within 72 hours, end all interference with human activities, recognize Earth as a sovereign equal in all Confederation matters. She paused, and her next words were spoken with quiet certainty. This is our last warning. Step over the line and face retribution. The transmission ended, leaving the galaxy in stunned silence. On the ambassador stared at his blank screen. His claws clicked nervously as he tried to understand what had just happened. How had humans gained access to classified information from every major species? How had they hidden their real capabilities for so long? Elder floated motionless in the crystal chamber. For the first time in centuries, the ancient being felt something it had not experienced since youth: fear. Trade Minister Six Arms trembled as he realized that every economic projection about humanity had been completely wrong. If the humans had 50 billion people and advanced technology, they were not a minor species to be managed. They were a major galactic power that had been pretending to be weak. Across the galaxy, alien governments held emergency meetings. Military commanders studied the images of human technology and tried to understand how it worked. Scientists analyzed the transmission data and found that it had somehow bypassed every security system simultaneously. And in the depths of space, hidden fleets began to move. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's reputation for being peaceful did not mean they were helpless. The countdown to retribution had begun. The alien response came faster than expected. Within 6 hours of President Santos' ultimatum, 3 massive battle fleets moved toward human space. The hegemony considered the human message an insult to their warrior honor. The ethereal collective was curious about human technology and wanted to capture it for study. The Empire simply wanted to end the human problem before it grew larger. General commanded the 6th Battle Fleet from his flagship, the Iron Claw. Around him flew 200 warships, each one covered in armor thick enough to stop plasma cannons and armed with weapons that could crack planets. "These humans think they can threaten us," General growled to his officers. "We will show them what real power looks like." The fleet jumped to hyperspace, heading for the human colony of Hope. Intelligence reports said it was defended by only a few patrol ships and orbital platforms. The battle should be over in minutes. When the fleet exited hyperspace near Hope, General expected to see a small human settlement protected by primitive defenses. Instead, he found something that made his 4 eyes widen in shock. The space around Hope was filled with human ships. Hundreds of vessels floated in perfect formation, their black hulls reflecting no light. They were shaped like arrows, sleek and deadly, with weapons that hummed with energy General did not recognize. "How many ships?" he asked his sensor officer. "Counting, 347 vessels, General, but our sensors keep losing track of some of them. It's like they're flickering in and out of existence." On the bridge of the human dreadnought Retribution, Admiral Sarah watched the fleet with calm eyes. Behind her, dozens of officers worked at stations covered in displays that showed information faster than alien minds could process. "Admiral," reported Captain at the sensor station, "the fleet has arrived. 200 ships, standard battle configuration." Admiral nodded. "Send them one message on all frequencies: leave now or be destroyed." General received the human message and laughed, his claws clicking together. "One message back to them: surrender now or be exterminated." "They're not responding, Admiral," Captain reported. Admiral looked at the display showing ships spreading into attack formation. "Then we respond for them. All ships open fire." What happened next would be remembered in galactic history as the Battle of Hope, though most aliens would try to forget it. The human ships fired weapons that General had never seen before. Beams of twisted light struck vessels and tore through their armor like it was paper. The massive battleship Stone Hammer simply disappeared, not destroyed but relocated somewhere else in space and time. "General," his communications officer called out, "the Steel Fang and Warspike are reporting that their armor is dissolving at the molecular level." General watched in horror as his mighty warships were taken apart by forces he could not understand. Plasma cannons fired back at the human fleet, but the shots passed through the enemy ships as if they were not there. "How are they doing that?" he demanded. "Unknown, General. Our weapons appear to be hitting the targets, but they're causing no damage." On the Retribution, Admiral watched the battle with professional interest. "Quantum displacement drives are working perfectly," she reported to her officers. "The enemy weapons are hitting where we were, not where we are." Captain looked up from his station. "Admiral, should we use the gravity manipulation weapons?" "Not yet," Admiral replied. "Let them see what molecular disruptors can do first." The fleet tried to retreat, but discovered that human ships could move faster than anything in their experience. When General ordered his vessels to jump to hyperspace, nothing happened. "The humans are jamming our hyperspace drives," his engineering officer reported. "Some kind of dimensional interference field." General realized that his mighty fleet was trapped with an enemy that fought using technology beyond understanding. In 30 minutes, half his ships were destroyed or disabled. The survivors limped away when the humans allowed them to leave. Meanwhile, in another part of space, the ethereal collective was learning their own hard lesson. 3 thought ships approached the human colony of Terra Nova, expecting to use psychic attacks to disable the defenders. Elder Hal led the assault, confident that no species could resist ethereal mental powers. When the thought ships tried to read human minds, they encountered something impossible. "I cannot sense the humans," Elder Hal reported to the other commanders. "It is as if their minds do not exist." The ethereal ships attacked with psionic waves that could drive most species insane. The waves hit the human fleet and had no effect at all. "This is impossible," transmitted Elder. "No biological mind can resist our psychic assault." The human response came in the form of weapons that targeted consciousness itself. The thought ships discovered that their psychic abilities required neural pathways that could be disrupted by quantum interference fields. One by one, the ethereal commanders found themselves unable to think clearly. Their crystal bodies remained undamaged, but their minds became confused and slow. The attack on New Geneva lasted even less time. Their energy shields, which had protected ships for thousands of years, were useless against kinetic penetrators that existed in quantum superposition until impact. Admiral received reports from all 3 battles within 4 hours. 6th Fleet retreating with 60% losses, ethereal thought ships disabled and withdrawing, economic fleet scattered and requesting terms. She activated her communication system. "This is Admiral to all alien forces in human space. You have 1 hour to withdraw beyond the boundaries of our territory. Any ships remaining after that deadline will be considered hostile and dealt with accordingly." The withdrawal began immediately. News of the human victories spread across the galaxy faster than the surviving alien ships could travel. In government buildings and military headquarters, alien leaders tried to understand what had happened. On the ambassador or met with the War Council. "Our most powerful fleet was defeated in hours," he reported. "The humans used weapons that our scientists say should not exist." "How is this possible?" demanded War Chief. "Our intelligence reports said humans were primitive." "Our intelligence reports were wrong," Orr admitted. "The humans have been hiding their real capabilities for decades." Similar conversations took place across alien space. The ethereals discovered that their understanding of psychic abilities was limited compared to human knowledge. They realized that their economic projections about humanity were completely incorrect. 2 weeks later, the Galactic Confederation Council met in emergency session. The chamber that had once dismissed humanity now hosted a very different discussion. Captain, now revealed as Admiral of the Sol Fleet, sat in a position of honor among the major powers. Her uniform displayed symbols that no alien database could identify, and her calm expression suggested complete confidence. Elder floated near the center of the chamber, the ancient being's crystal body dimmed with what might have been respect or fear. "The ethereal collective wishes to formally apologize to humanity for our misunderstanding of your capabilities." Ambassador Orr's claws clicked nervously. "The hegemony acknowledges that we underestimated human military strength. We withdraw all claims to human territory." The representative, Trade Minister, waved his 6 arms in submission. "The Empire recognizes human sovereignty over all worlds claimed by Earth." President Santos appeared on the chamber's main screen via quantum communication. "Humanity appreciates these acknowledgments. However, words are not enough." The chamber fell silent. "The human integration accords are hereby rejected and declared void," President Santos continued. "In their place, Earth proposes the Terra Accords, a new framework that recognizes all species as equals, regardless of their age, technology level, or physical capabilities." Elder pulsed with curiosity. What would these Terra Accords require? "Equal representation in council decisions," President Santos replied. Equal access to trade and resources, equal protection under Confederation law, and most importantly, equal respect for the sovereignty of all member species. Over the following days, the Terra Accords were debated and refined. The galaxy learned that humanity was not interested in conquest or revenge. They wanted only what they had always wanted, to be left alone to live their lives in peace. But the galaxy also learned that humanity was prepared to fight for that peace if necessary. 6 months later, human ships patrolled the galaxy's trade routes, no longer hiding their advanced technology. Pirates and raiders discovered that attacking any species brought swift response from human forces. On Earth, children learned about the day their species stopped pretending to be weak and took their place among the stars, not as conquerors or rulers, but as guardians of the peace they had fought to protect. Admiral stood on the bridge of the Retribution, looking out at the stars through the main. Beside her, Admiral reviewed reports from human colonies across the galaxy. "Any regrets about revealing our capabilities?" asked. Admiral smiled. "None at all. The galaxy needed to learn that strength comes in many forms. Sometimes the strongest species is the one that chooses to appear weak until survival is at stake." In the depths of space, hidden shipyards continued their work, building vessels that would ensure humanity never again faced extinction at alien hands. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, and humans intended to explore it all. But they would do so as equals, not as subjects. They had issued their last warning, and the galaxy had learned to listen.